Ma'am, is my screen shared?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is visible and perfect. You can continue.
Thank you so much. So let's start with the session 2. So in this second session of AICT training and learning, yeah, in this AICT training and learning academy EFTP on electrics application in sensors, microelectronics, and actuators. Through this session 2, I'm presenting some of the highlights of early researchers conducted in the field of electrates and current trends also. How electrates are being put in use in sensors, actuators, filters, and what micro electromechanical system devices are emerging. This lecture session focuses on the achievements of our polymer electrates being employed in energy harvesting, transducers, memories, and biomedicine. One of you asked about whether it can be used in medical or not. So yes, definitely it can. It's a very important play an important role in biomedicines also. So here we are going to see the recent advances in electrics application through this lecture session too. So for this, content of the lecture is prepared as follows. In the first segment of the lecture, we will see a historical background of polymer electrates and a broad classification considering chemical constitution, that is fluorine polymer and non-fluorine ones. In the subsequent section, a brief survey of charging or polarizing methods, followed by several characterization techniques for charge stabilization or distribution. So the emphasis of this lecture is on the application of polymer electrates in power generators, sensors, field effect transistors, and air filters, accompanied by several factors that would impact the output performance. Also, some perspectives and opportunities for future development of polymer electrates technically. As we have already seen our in first session about the classification with of this electric, here we are also going to see the development and classification. Uh, Look at this figure, which shows the development of electric materials in. Sorry for disturbance. So look at this figure, which shows the development of electric materials in early 1732. That this gray predicted that perceptual attractive power exists in several dielectrics such as resins, waxes, and sulfur. A century later, Faraday proposed that an electric moment would be generated within a dielectric material once the external field was tuned to zero. In 1990, Gucci prepared the artificial electric material for the first time through thermal polarization of Brazil palm wax. However, these typical electrates such as wax, rosin, sulfur represent several drawbacks, such as low working temperature, less than 60 degree Celsius, the large volume, a low purity, and a short charge storage lifetime. Um, so SiO2, Si3N4, and mosquitotive are inorganic electric which have the advantage of compatible with microelectronic processing technology and high surface charge density, but they possess weak mechanical properties. In contrast, polymer chains could be featuring different microscopic crystalline aggregation to tune the properties beside the lightweight and flexibility. Therefore, polymer electrates have drawn a great attention in both military and civilian application, including xeroxography, microphone, transistors, memory devices, energy harvesters, biomedicines, and so on. So, in terms of element composition, available polymer electrate fall into two categories: fluorine polymer and non-fluorine polymer. As you can see through this in a tabular form, that in general, fluorinated ethylene, polypropylene, polytetrafluoroethylene, Cytop, TBDF are classified into fluorinated polymer electrodes. Non-fluorine polymers include Kapton, Palline, epoxides, or polyesters, and so on. Polypropylene is also a kind of non-fluorine polymer, and researchers from Finland first confirmed that PP film that contains tiny microcavities, that is cellular PP, shows a piezoelectric properties after proper charge polarization. But the ferroelectrate may be not stable against temperature and time. So these cellular electrodes established on thermally stable polymers such as polyethylene, naphthalene, cyclophenes, and PET were also called a ferroelectrode, which belong to non-uniform materials. So note that molecular dipole exists in these ferroelectrodes, but electrically charged internal cavities can be turned into macroscopic dipoles after microplasma discharge, namely dielectric barrier discharges. Although encouraging features have been observed in polymer electrode, several limitations are apparent. So, for instance, dense PTFE usually reveals limited charge storage because redundant charges often remain on the surface or near surface. Meanwhile, when PTFE comes into contact with metal electrode, the open pores in PTFE will lead to loss of charge that stored inside PTFE. Beside polymer electrode have to operate at low temperature, normally lower than 60 degree. So due to the poor thermal stability of those electric induced charges, which hinders their further application at elevated temperature. To this end, laminated FEP pattern porous PTFE films were proposed. So we can see through this fabrication process, that is fabrication or the that patterning and diffusion bonding. So during the patterning process, the FEP film was placed on the mirror side of a stainless steel plate and covered with a porous PTFE layer. Afterward, a template was directed on the top PTFE layer with the pattern surface facing down. The stakes were realized at room temperature by adopting platinum vulcanization pressure machine under pressure of 3 megapascals for 4 minutes, and pattern porous PTFE layer can be subsequently found on FEP layer. Finally, the FEP layer with a pair of pattern films was sandwiched between two glass plates and put it into an oven. The temperature for fusion bonding between porous PTFE and FEP layers was set around 280 degrees Celsius. And the finished product consists of two pattern PTFE film and three compact FEP layer. More importantly, that the FEP and PTFE film charges were stored in the PTFE layer. Exhibit better thermal stability compared with the customary PP piezoelectric. After a thermal annealing at 125 degrees Celsius for 1100 minutes, the or we can say that piezoelectric coefficient measured at frequency of 1020 hertz is around 105 picocoulomb per Newton. That is of the 30% of the initial value. Later works indicate that filling of polystyrene with an amount of TiO2 up to 8% of volume can further improve their thermal stability. That's above the glass transition point, yet without causing remarkable increase in the DC conductivity. So these observations could attribute it to the interface polarization, where gradual decay occurs once exceeding the glass transition point. So surplus or we can say the trap charges have an important impact on the dielectric characteristic of these polymer electrodes, particularly responsible for their intelligent utilization. However, exposure to a moist environment, that is, we can say the sweating surfaces or rainy days, may lead to the neutralization of residual charges near the surface by the ions in the water. So this process will permanently impair the onboarded devices. The issue has been addressed by employing a laminated cellular electrode film in which self-recover of surface charges occurs in humid environment. The hot processing process was employed to prepare the laminated cellular electrode. You can see in this figure. Sorry. by combining the biaxial oriented polypropylene, that is BOPP films, and ethylene vinyl acetate copolymer. So the final product, you can see this, the figure C. Uh, that the final product reveal an excellent flexibility where BOPP and EVA films were firmly bonded. Sorry, and this the last figure D. So, moreover, self-recover of the charges residing on the exterior surface of the liquid can be observed when the sample is soaked in water, benefited from the electric dipoles. So, all these improvements will expand the application of polymer lectrate in future. Yes, obviously, again, challenges material. Here we will see that, as we all know, that electrodes have thrown our greatest challenges in materials for a wide range of applications. So as earlier we have seen that let's begin with the Bevaxis resins were the only electric materials, then an organic dielectric aromatic hydrocarbons, so polymeric material were introduced. Yeah, obviously after that the studies on non-polar polymers, ceramics, biomaterials begin. So with this, doped polymer and blends of different polymers have also been investigated with the objective of understanding their structures. So studies of electric pooling and polycrystalline ceramic, which align internal dipoles of the crystalline and their piezoelectric or photoelectric properties, have continuously led to the development of the new materials. So several new polymer composites, pyroelectric, piezoelectric material have been introduced, and obviously there is a composite polymers also. So and with this context, we will see the study of different materials one by one. That is non-polar, polymer, piezoelectric materials, non-linear optical materials, and porous polymers, silicon hybrid compounds, and materials for MEMS. We will see a detailed study about these materials one by one. Look at this, that is for the non-polar polymers. Non-polar polymers are low dielectric constant and low dielectric loss insulating material. So because of their insulating properties and flexibility as well as ease in processing, such polymers have been subject of the electric studies. Excuse me. So it was found that charge stability of non-polar polymer electrate film is exceptionally high. So Teflon has proved to be a good electric material for application in ACMs and radiation dosimeters. So emergence of thin film preparation technique had a significant impact on electrode research. The TSD studies on polymeric thin film were made to get information on their structural phase and glass transition. So new form of non-polar material as copolymer and porous material have been developed, which show exceptional high stability for a future liquid devices. MEMS liquids for submicron thin layer of PTFE become possible as a result of material science research. Mm, a copolymer of PTFE and perfluoro 2-dimethyl and 1,3-dioxyl as a Teflon exists in liquid form and can be spin coated on the liquid in some micron thin layer with a better addition on liquid material with materials than Teflon. It has a porous structure and charge is stored in voids of free volume and interfacial boundaries. Now, another advantage is that it is amenable to lithographic chemical. Charged by electron beam injection from backlighted thyraton, the polarization is known to be retained for as long as 10 to 100 years. And they are ideal for MEMS devices such as gyros, accelerometers, and pressure transducers. So there is a need to prepare a database on dielectric and electric properties of different non-polar materials for giving a boost to applied research. Now, look at this, that is piezoelectric materials. So piezoelectric materials are discovered by Jacques and Beatty that the ferroelectric effect, that is ferroelectricity, is characteristic of certain material that have a spontaneous electric polarization that can be reversed by the application of external field. So in Rochelle salt, that is with the after that the field of application of ferroelectric material has been growing. Then the ferroelectricity in single crystal was observed, but it was the discovery of ferroelectricity in polycrystalline ceramic like barium titanium that has led to several new possibilities. So ferroelectric ceramics are non-centrosymmetric polymer materials, and the dipole present in them are randomly oriented. Electrical charging or pooling process align the dipoles, induce polarization response to changes in thermal and mechanical states, resulting in pyroelectric and piezoelectric response. Such piezoelectric materials have found application not only in microphones but also in other electromechanical transistors and actuators. So the following the observation of piezoelectric city in polymeric material, namely PVDF, electric transistors application using film of different thickness and crystallization forms were given a boost. A number of other polymer and ceramic composition have since been investigated for their piezoelectric behavior under different conditions of cooling. So far, PVDF or TRFE, polyvinyl difluorine trifluoroethylene, is the only material that has found suitable in commercial devices, but search is on for others. So the polymers are flexible and level of induced stain can be high in their spectral response. On the other hand, ceramics have good piezoelectricity. However, they do not have desirable dielectric properties and are rigid. As a result, a new class of material as a combination of copolymer and ceramic composites having higher electromechanical coupling coefficient, higher critical temperature are easily polarizable, and that can be produced by low energy consuming sol gel and solid solution method is developing. The piezoelectric coefficient of composite materials can be as high as 600 picocoulomb per neutron compared to PZT with 220. And ferroelectric polymer with 30 picocoulomb per neutron, they make ideal electroactive polymers for application from infrared sensors, actuators, electro-optic modulator, and smart sensor, and are proving superior to shape, memory, and metal alloys. So PZT replaced barium titanium, and it is now being placed by lanthanum doped lead zinconate titanium. So ferroelectric relaxer ternary system comprising PZN, PFN, BZN composite has shown reasonably good mechanical properties for application in multi-layer ceramic capacitor and exotic dielectric behavior. So further investigation on electric and mechanical response of piezoelectric polymer and their ceramic composite, such modeling of their non-linear response and development of analytical tools for possible biomedical applications are the challenges to overcome. Now with the non-linear optical materials, which is another category of electric material, certain polymer ceramic composites show flexibility of preparation, ease of delivering their properties for desired application, and have demonstrated second order nonlinear optical effects. Electric optical coefficient of most polymer is low, whereas ferroelectric oxide have high electro-optic coefficient but are difficult to grow as single crystal. Compared to single crystals, ferroelectric polycrystalline ceramics are generally opaque. However, discovery of optical transparency in PLZT system in the late 1960s led to new possibilities. So the doping with lanthanum and PZT resulted in producing transparency due to reduced anisotropy, which is found to be function of the ratio of lanthanum and zirconium titanium. So, which maintains such optical nonlinearities are harmonic generation and refractive index modulation. New development and breakthrough using Solvay process literates of glass polymer composite showing femtosecond optical gate studies and other optical devices have been achieved by simultaneous application of electrical and optical fields. As a guest host composite, non-linear optical materials are emerging as the most demanding material for wide variety of electric application. Optical polymer waveguides can be structured in plane of thin polymer layer by selectively pooling the waveguides areas which are require different refractive indices. By using pooling fields for perpendicular or parallel to the layer, transverse electrical or transfer magnetic waves can be guided. Such a device can be used in developing a prototype of interferometer and direction couplers. Nonlinear optical properties of SiO2 polymer um, composites are of interest in developing an electro-optic switch of for automatic room light controller in buildings. Photo refractive property of doped ceramic, which act as a nonlinear optical polymers, needs to be further investigated in terms of new material synthesis for application in dynamic charge storage, image processing, and holographic displays. As in our session one, also we have seen about the porous materials. Why porous material we have to be chosen for the electric materials. Also in this, you can see the detail. That is for the porous polymer. It is seen that amorphous or crystalline polymers, when stretched, shows avoids and behave like a porous material. So these interstitial sites provides an ideal location for trapping of electric charge. Such materials have demonstrated increased electrical and mechanical strength. Electrate behavior study for stretch polymer polypropylene is conducted by Goel and et al. Indicated that the discontinuity between crystalline and amorphous boundaries due to the presence of voids was responsible for reducing a charge mobility and stiffness enhancement in comparison to melt pressed polypropylene. um, so the bi-axial oriented thin polypropylene film with multi-air gap layers or cellular structure have recently been prepared as electromechanical films, EMFI films. By corona charging during manufacturing, this film has been tested as a sensor. And external force on the EMFI surface changes the thickness of air voids and charge is generated at the electrodes. So thus, porosity is proving to be a promising property for electrodes in large-scale sensors and actuators applications. When when used in shoe soles, it helps in monitoring of the pressure distribution during walking, placed under the conventional flooring tiles. It could be used for recording the footsteps and other movement on the floor. So the concept of double layer sandwich of one softer and another harder layer with the electrode has been introduced in polystyrene and polypropylene films as well as in PTFE and PPS films. These polymer foam electrode transistors are found suitable for measuring finer movement in airborne ultrasound devices for application in industry as well as respiratory detector in biomedical field. A flat sensor placed between the patient receiving drug and supporting mattress can monitor the effect of the drug on respiration. In nature, porous material exists in many forms in plant leaves as well as in living beings. In fact, the porosity in the leg bones of a horse is known to give an immense strength. So most biomaterials are porous, having water molecule permeability. Importance of porous material in electric research is being recognized and may reveal entirely unknown features. Now look at this, that is silicon hybrid compounds. Silicon dioxide, gallium arsenide, and silicon nitrides are extensively used in semiconductor devices and microelectronics. Uh, these silica compounds have been studied for charge storage and form promising electric materials. It is seen that nonlinear electro-optical effects can be generated in silicon oxide layer by electron beam charging. Such electrodes are more stable in comparison to thermally poled electrode. Now, silicon dioxide contributes not only to the total electrical capacitance but also to the thermal resistance of sensor. So the output current is hardly influenced by small changes. Sorry, small changes in temperature. And literate optical microphone, in which vibrations of the membrane produce varying electric field modulated, the amount of current flowing in the external circuit can be integrated with FET on the same chip. The optical silicon microphone is 1,000 times more sensitive than condenser microphone and provides a solution to short lifetime problems of humidity sensitive microphones in theaters. MIS, that is metal insulated semiconductor solar cell, has been um, uh, proposed using layers of PVDF and TRFE copolymer or non-polar Teflon as active material between silicon dioxide layer as the absorbing coating at the interaction of the mesh in the upper contact. The spherical coating providing an area greater than that occupied by the upper electrode and absorbs the radiation. The current voltage characteristics of the coated electrode solar cell have been measured and shows a very promise for the further research. So the current transfers through the external circuit due to difference in the electromechanical potential when metal electrodes are connected. Now the materials for MEMS, that is microelectronic mechanical system. So in microelectronics, silicon is a base material. In microsystem, substrate serves as an additional purpose of acting as a transistor and becomes an active substrate material. Hence, the scope of the material research has widened. A great deal of interest in use of different materials like metals, quartz, polymers, and ceramics, besides silicon dioxide exists. Silicon nitride has many superior properties and is being considered attractive for MEMS when LIGA, that is German abbreviation of lithium lithography, electroforming, and modeling process was developed. So PMMA became the optimal choice for the photoresist material. It also shows excellent charge storage capability and therefore can become promising material for use in MEMS selected devices. If we talk about the advancements in MEMS technology, that is technology have direct implication on electrode research. However, the choice of material for MEMS depends not only on the required parameters to be measured, but also integration of the material with substrate. The piezoelectric ceramics material are proving to be suitable for active electric vibration sensors and micro accelerometers. The PLZT has been used in number of novel MEMS devices due to superior electromechanical properties. So the other polymers like PVDF and PTFE are becoming increasingly popular for MEMS and transistors. Research problem in this direction include integration of the electric film with the remainder of the processing steps. So it is seen that magnitude of piezoelectric coefficient is affected by film comparison again, size, phase boundary, and substrate material. The development of intelligent robots would require a combination of strong muscles, that is actuators and sensitive sensor mm, diagnosis. For this improved performance requires material with a high fracture toughness, large accuracy, strain, and invariant vibration damping, besides charge stability. So if such function can be integrated into the same material and are scalable to support MEMS technology, unique bio MEMS with great potential are and offering and they offer great challenge. So to materials, engineers require multidisciplinary capabilities as a design and manufacture of the sensors. And instruments would require knowledge and experience in molecular biology besides the physical, chemical, and engineering. So the possibilities are immense. Now we'll see, as you have already in our first one, we'll see the only one preparation. Now here we will see the different methods of preparation. Just a minute, I will show you one table for wait, combined table, that is various methods for preparation, that is corona charging, software X-ray diffract radiation, contact charging, thermal charging, particle beam injection, particle beam and injection. So we'll talk about one by one with these methods, with the advantage and disadvantage. We'll see. Here is a in this table of form we will have given a advantage and disadvantage of different preparation methods. So let's start with this corona charging. So charging or polarizing is one oldest but representative characteristics of dielectric or data definite process to fabricate the polymer electrode. It may take several years to neutralize due to good stability of low conductivity charge or polarized states. So far, different charging methods have been developed. So primarily, depending on the charge type in the polymer electrode, in general, most of the polymer electrodes charged via injecting or depositing by corona charging, software X-radiation, and electron beam injection. The other method acquires space charges when the electrode exposed to radiation or heat and which are simultaneously separated by an external field. Charging dipolar dielectric, in contrast, is realized under an electric field, but temperature gradient should be required. Here, the polarization orientation can be exactly controlled by the field of corona deposited charges. This will represent several. We can see that with this corona charging, we can say this is the isothermally charging method, really on the charge transfer in air. One frequently used in corona charging approach in which in the inhomogeneous field is employed to start the discharge process at atmospheric pressure. Here the copper electrode is grounded or connected to the anode while the needle is directed to the electrode surface. Vertical distance of around 10 centimeter and no electrons were initially absorbed on the electrode surface. Yet if the upper electrode, that is you can see the needle, the upper electrode is negatively biased, that is of polarization voltage of around 5 kV was applied on the needle. So numerous electrons will injected from the needle tip flow toward the electric layer. During the charging process, positive charges are synchronously induced in the grounded electrode under the electric film to screen the electric field. The mechanism could be attributed to the ionization in air, and thus carriers are principally, that is CO3 ions, due to their low thermal energy. These thermal ions are intensively absorbed on the surface rather than penetrate into the electric layer. In this case, charges are transferred to the surface while the ions re-enter the air. The corona charging technique reveals reveals merits, including a simple setup and a short time for a desired surface potential. However, the poor lateral uniformity of the charge distribution leads to the reduction of charge stability during the normal operation. So recently, a spark distribution method has paved an alternative route to isothermal charge polymer electrode cell. Now, the another one, that is soft X-ray irradiation. Now you can see here that a comb-shaped metal electrodes that consist of numerous air gaps with few micron wides have been extensively in the micro electromechanical system. So nevertheless, obstructive parts, for example, counter electrodes and substrates prevent corona ions passing through the narrow gap. That is mainly hindered by local field near the opening. So it is still challenging to charge or polarize electric film on side walls. In this case, electrode layer should be charged before the device assembly step. Some novel charging strategies, such as soft X-rays, were thus proposed to improve the compatibility of liquid-based devices with available MEMS techniques. The electromagnetic radiation of high energy, up to tens of kV, can easily penetrate these obstructive parts, and even the gas molecules inside air gaps, as well as up to 96%. Now, for soft rays with an energy of 6 kV can pass through the 2 micrometer thick silicon film. So, electrodes embedded in devices and vertical electrode parts on side walls can consequently charge. The soft X-ray charging layout is smoothly, you can see through this figure. The ions and electrons are immediately generated in air once. Soft X-rays run through the obstruction, that is electrodes or substrates, and then flow toward the electrodes with oppositely charged under a built-up film between two electrodes. Here, negative ions and electrons will be deposited on the polymer electrode if the dielectric materials are positively biased. Note that this method is appropriate for charging polymer electrodes after packaging processes. The surface potential of the charged polymer electrodes reveals a linear vibration with increasing radiation time, and uniformity after charging process could achieve a depth of 20 to 30 times the gap. In other words, we can say that this charging method depends on mechanism similar to an inflatable radiation detector. So this is often considered as an ionization chamber technique. Another contact charging. Contact charging method where two electrodes are directly in contact with each other. Refers to a joint effect of equilibrium and state and dynamic process. During the operation, in general, charge transfer occurs between liquid, that is, for example, suppose ethyl alcohol, acetone, and water, and insulating material under an applied electric field, bringing about electrostatic recording and electrode production. So, you can see this water bridge model in the figure, which describes the basic principle for the contact electrification under ambient, obviously under ambient conditions of dielectric material. Here, all solids were well weighted in order to produce a sufficient adhesive forces at the solid liquid interface. After a wetting contact, all charges induced at the solid liquid interface will reside in the liquid surface and will be transferred to the surface of the polymer lattice after liquid evaporation. The water bridge with a thickness of approximately 1 to nanometer is usually shorter than Debye length in the aqueous solution. So such a thin dimension avails a diffusion of mobile ion till distribution across the entire region, associated with the comparable entropic tendency to the electrostatic forces of these mobile ions. Meanwhile, the relatively large dielectric constant of water may facilitate the separation of ions from their counterparts, and charges are ultimately separated when split of the water bridge into individual adsorbed layers occurs. So mobile ions will be trapped kinetically on one side if the distance between the two water layers becomes adequately large. So similar to observation of the ion transfer principle above, though, note that the thin water layer are crucial for contact charging. The properties of bulk water appears if the thickness is greater than 2 nanometer. A serious problem is that the separation of ions within a thicker layer of water may result in discharge of the electrodes. Since the ions transfer process requires ions that should be effectively attracted on the surface. So it is worth noting that the macroscopic charge separation will not be detectable in an aqueous environment when two layers with opposite charges are separating. And equilibrium dynamic atmosphere will be re-established with equal and opposite charges. But surface contaminants, especially those exhibits highly anisotropic in their polarizability and hydrophobicity, suppose example that carbonate ions generated by carbon dioxide may make a contribution. So in addition, hydroxide may be attached on some polymer electrodes and thereby hydronium caused by the hydroxide accumulation in the electric dipole layers of a polymer electrode should be concerned about, which suggests the equilibrium of hydroxide could be detected in the stern layer near the surface of polymer electrodes with a superior affinity of hydroxide. A net negative charge result has eventually evident in a certain layer of polymer material with a high hydroxide concentration after the split of water bridge into two separate layers. The researchers on hydroxide provide us possible explanation why trio charging could produce a negative charge in those polymer electrodes, example PP and polyethylene, with inferior affinity of for electrons. Thermal charging, thermal methods for charging or polarizing polymer electrodes involve an electric field applied to the material at an elevated temperature, followed by subsequent cooling steps under the electric field. Thermal polarization usually starts from slowly heating the polymer electric material from room temperature to the desired temperature at control rate. So example, suppose 5 degree per minute. A direct bias is then applied after maintaining the system at the point for a period of time, and that it should be pointed out that the present thermal charging could be executed in either the presence or the absence of air gaps. So for representative phenomena including internal polarization, heterocharge, homocharge injection have been observed in the thermal charge processing. So the polarization temperature determines the quantity of surface charge. This while their polarity relies on the orientation of the external electric field. So to this end, the polarization temperature for polymer electrode should be above the glass transition point, yet not exceed the melting temperature. Experimental observation also includes that the high polarizing temperature promotes ferroelectric charge. Since the threshold voltage to trigger discharges in polymer electrode has been reduced, the lower threshold voltage simultaneously decrease the remnant polarization due to the appearance of back discharge at low level on switching the charging bias off. So monoenergetic particle beam injection, the injection of monoenergetic particle beams that have a smaller wavelength than the thickness of the polymer electrode film renders versatile. As we have already seen that the comparison table for the different methods, charging methods or preparation methods, and that in which condition it can be done and advantages and disadvantages. So for the Karuna charging, if you look at for the advantage, a short time for a desired surface potential, and the disadvantage that is the poor lateral uniformity. And for the soft X-ray radiation, if we go with this also with the in air, and the charged electric films on sidewalls and after packaging process, and disadvantages high energy up to 10 kV is required. And for the contact charging between the liquids, so a simple and widespread method. But as for the disadvantage, it is the thin water layer, approximately 1 or 2 nm. So with this thermal charging, if we talk about the thermal, it's again with the in air or vacuum. It can be executed in either the presence or the absence of air gap. But and disadvantage that is the polarization temperature should be well controlled. As I am not undertaken with this particle beam injections, and it is in vacuum, and a better control over charge density charge, and the charge the electrode layer with a thickness, and a depth to lateral charge in this with the injection method, a depth to lateral charge position and distribution. It's for disadvantages is greater than unequal to the 0.1 centimeter. Now, with the measurement, those who are in the session one already know about these, so that I'm not continuing with the in detail with the surface thermal and thermal and surface charge measurement and the thermal stimulated discharge current studies. So with this measurement of polarization, that is to understand the charge storage and transport in dielectric is information about the charge distribution and its decay with the temperature or time. Measurement of space charge polarization in electrode gives important insight about the physics of dielectric material. Polarization can be measured or scanned by relaxing the frozen charge using light, thermal, and pressure pressure probes. Different techniques adopt for measurement of electrode polarization, that is the surface charge measurement, thermally stimulated, and photo depolarization. We just take them in a very small way. That is the surface charge. That's a charge on the surface of an electrode can be directly measured by using an electrometer, which measures local induced electric field. Such measurements are repeated at certain time interval, depending on the life of an electrode. Between the measurements, it is necessary to keep the sample in a short condition by wrapping it in aluminum foil. So this method was is still in use for testing electric charge and dosimeters to get the information about the volume polarization in electric. Sectioning technique has been proposed. Here the polarized material is cut into section and for each surface charge is measured. So, but this method, however, did not gain popularity because it is difficult to slice and electrode without disturbing its charge dynamic. Hmm. Now, for the TSDC, the discharge current of dielectric is extremely weak at room temperature, but can be enhanced by light or thermal activation or by other means. So the TSDC is the external current of the polarized sample subjected to heating at a uniform rate. It has proved to be an extremely useful experimental technique to study dipolar behavior or charge stepping characteristics as well as to provide information on total internal charge stored. So this technique has been perfected for the study of liquid effect in polymer and biomaterials as it provides information on different phases transition as well as the total charge stored. Okay. As we have already seen in our first lecture that it will give you the important material properties such as activation energy of the trapped charge carriers, their mobility and their lifetime in conduction state can be measured. It is the only drawback that it is a descriptive method and the sample gets discharged in this process because it's just the opposite of the formation process. So now the photo depolarization current and photopole sample direct irradiation with light gives rise to photo depolarization current in the external circuit. It helps to understand the way in which charge is stored and is reactivated by optical radiation. Negatively charged and positively charged photopole samples show different decay rates due to different penetration depths of the trapped charge inside the material. So this technique, known for more than 50 years, has been recently applied for investigating corona charge electrodes made of silicon dioxide using monochromatic ultraviolet light and MEMS devices. The method of formation of electrode a technique to probe its properties and measurement of various parameters and depicted. Wait. So mapping of charge inside the electrode. So in the method discussed so far, that is measurement of surface charge, TSDC, and photo depolarization, information about total charge stored, phase transition temperature, and stability of electrode is obtained. The problem of determining the special distribution of charge inside the electrode still remain. So electrode charge mapping technique have been developed with the help of newly developed techniques such as LIMM, that is laser intensity modulation method, LIPP, that is laser induced pressure pulse, and PEA, pulse electroacoustic piezoelectric induced pressure pulse, that is PIPP. So in LIMM, an electrode is exposed to modulated light beam or thermal wave which creates a non-homogeneous deformation of the system. The diffusion of heat inside material leads to the thermal expansion and changes in the temperature dependent physical properties of the material like dielectric permittivity, polarization, etc. So a signal is generated in the external circuit giving information about the spatial distribution of internal polarization across the thickness of the electric foil. So the LIMM is well suited for a very thin sample. The modulation frequency can be varied from 100 to 100 Hertz to 100 kilowatts. Now with the LIPP, in the LIPP method, short ND-arc laser pulse of energy 1 to 10 megajoule transfers through the adjacent electrodes, thereby modifying the internal electric field, and current is induced in the external circuit. So with this PEA, that is pulse electroacoustic, uses an acoustic pulse in place of laser wave. The acoustic pulse modifies the internal electric field, causing perturbation in the charge. A pressure wave signal is generated, giving the polarization profile of the electrode. So this method can provide information on rapid evaluation of charges as well as a dipole distribution under fast varying voltages. Transmission of pressure signal is so rapid that it takes about 1 millisecond to transmit across 2 mm of sample. Now the another one, that is piezoelectric induced pressure pulse. A piezoelectric transistor is used to generate mechanical force resulting in a pressure pulse across the sample. It is analogous to effect observed in optics for transparent dielectrics, but here it is applied to non-transparent sample to characterize space charge profiles. The evolution of space charge profile can be scanned to a good sensitivity. So the PIPP method is used to reconstruct the three-dimension charge distribution in electrons. So now here recent advances in applications will see that electrode application, that an electrode when exposed to either a pressure wave, a thermal wave, or a mechanical distortion, a light wave, or a voltage pulse produces a signal in the external circuit. So it can therefore be used to sense temperature, pressure, light, sound, as well as electrical signals. Developments in electric technology have led to commercially available electric devices ranging from sensors, transistors, and air filters to radiation dosimeter. So most devices need neither external power supply, not a battery during operation. The important criteria is their long-term charge stability besides requested material compatibility. Now we'll see one by one, that is energy harvesting devices. Electric material which can store and hold charges semi-permanently from several months to hundreds of years are the key material used in the electrostatic induction generator. The electrostatic induction generator worked as a pump to derive a charge transport in the outside circuit, which produces an alternative current. The structure of electrostatic induction generator could be varied from vertical mode to in plane mode. And you can see in this figure one, figure A, first one, the figure, it's A and the first one. So a gap closing electric generator associated with a change in gap width. And the second one, you can see that an in-plane oscillator, and the third is the in-plane oscillation mode, but containing a high permittivity insert that oscillation inside the air gap. And the last one, that is the fourth one, is the rotatory type. Here to simplify the description with, we discuss the electrostatic features of the polymer electrodes with the two parallel plates. Note that the way to charge the polymer media and charge distribution may differ, yet they all convert mechanical moments into electrical energy following the similar principle. In general, opposite charges are generated on the electrode material, and counter electrode through electrostatic interaction gives rise to AC in the circuit. So the magnitude of the deposited charges depend on the overlapping area between the electrode plate and the electrode layer. If we ignore the parasitic capacitance contribution, the output power can be described by this following theoretical formula. You can see these equations. Where sigma refers to the charge density on the electric surface, and is the thickness of the electric layer. Epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 are the relative permittivity of the corresponding to the air, and G is the distance between the counter electrode and the polymer electrode. By assuming a generator running at a rotational frequency F with a total A0 and the N poles, the change rate of overlapping area dA by dt is constant, and thus the maximum load R maximum can be expressed with this equation. So where the power output is in direct proportion to the frequency, moreover, the output power is accompanied by sigma 2, indicating the electric material with a higher surface charge density will contribute to high output power for electric generator. So it should be pointed that the matched impedance under this with the R maximum and the output power P maximum may be overestimated despite a finite value of the parasitic capacitance. However, this result provides some guidance for designing a high performance electric generator, such as using polymer electrodes with a high surface charge density as working elements. Also, the cellular electric generator is expected to supply a higher output power. The dramatic increase in the number of dramatic increase in number and varieties of portable electronic in recent year has increased the demand of flexible and high power density storage system. Hence, commercialized, that is polymer electric based generators for variable electronic required high charge storage in the dielectric material. Besides, these generators are mainly established on the induction arising from the surplus charges deposited on electrics. Therefore, a reasonable material structure such as sandwiched composite film can be store more charge in composition with the traditional counterpart with the same thickness. The manufacturing process of the sandwich composite fluorocarbon films are as shown in this figure, that the connected to a load resistance of let it be around 40 megaohm. The embodied electric generator produces maximum output density approximately 31.4 microwatt per square meter. So the improved performance can be understood that more residual charges are expected that interfaces between FPTFE and FVP, and thereby resulting in a high charge density on the electric surface. So in recent generator using polymer electrode, the significant modulation in capacitance has been reported, aided by the movement of sodium chloride solution. The ion separation near the electrodes forms a Hamilton double layer capacitor, and a higher dielectric constant of the water compared to the ambient air, thereby contributes to a low bias voltage and low operational frequency. That's around 1.2 volt to 6 hertz. Compared to untreated electrostatic devices, the growing demand on clean energy for practical applications calls breakthrough in the power density. So to this end, electric generator with a two radial array, fine electrode, namely rotator and stator, that are complementary on the same plane are proposed, and more energy can be gathered from the rotatory surface in this planar structure design, revealing predictable performance and open circuit voltage of around 250 volt at 3000 rounds per minute has been demonstrated in a prototype with a diameter of 10 centimeter with a short circuit of 3 milliampere at 3 kilohertz. So it should be pointed that such a rotational design not only simplifies the device structure, that is low cost, lightweight, small volume, and proven scalability, but also guarantee the excellent robust in doing this electric generator actually durable and reliable for large scale energy generator. Meanwhile, the rapid development of wearable devices has caused the emergence of stretchable electronics. Thus, the power packages for these independent systems should be high flexibility or stretchability. So, the research focus in the last decade since their ease integration into conventional packaging process makes the paper-based generator particularly attractive. So, during the fabrication of the metal-free, non-fluorine foldable devices, in this figure. And also, the photo paper was first divided into two equal sections in virtue of blank strips on which carbon nanotubes ink drop finished by the scrap coating processed to spread evenly over the surface. Here, the good, elastic, and flexible of the photo paper ensure the ideal electrical properties for the CNT electrodes under a large deformation. So the polymer electrode generator based on single paper could suffer several folds and even completed into zigzag structure. Um, Therefore, for the paper-based generator, irregular energy, example, discontinuous banding, you can say, can efficiently accumulated, which will offer a broader application of wearable electronics. So theoretically, studies predict that generators established on electrics a large relative permittivity and higher duty cycle existent in the final devices contribute an important improved output performance. So the equivalent output impedance and load in the external circuit may also impact the operation. Sensors, though the rapid evolution of information science aims to turn around our surrounding into an intelligent world. So diverse smart sensors are needed. In the last decades, many stretchable strain force sensors have been reported, including insulators with conductive additives as a sensing layer. However, traditional sensing system must consist of an battery to support their operational, which will increase the total device's cost considering the external power supply. So several sensor depending on the piezoelectric characteristics of semiconductors, examples I don't know, may simply the structure such as these cell powered devices, but their poor mechanical capacity that cannot be bear the strain higher than 5% still limit the application in stretchable electronics. The cellular polymer as a new kind of transistor material was introduced, serving as a capacitive transducers. So recently, hence electrode-based sensor utilizing electrostatic effect have an open alternative route for self-powered sensor system in the future. So in addition, the polymeric electrode have shown many properties have very different from those solid-based sensor. Um, that is, their piezoelectric coefficient are significantly higher than those of the inorganic material. They therefore can be easily handled in the artificial electronic skin that mimics human organs to perspective unknown environment. So in general, the polymer electrode layer sandwich between the two orthogonal electrodes consisting to the 2D grid, where a pixel refer to overlap between the top and bottom electrodes. The tactile sensors array as subsequently used for manufacturing flexible calculator where the variable can be directly identified. So more evident results indicate that these flexible devices can specially map in instantaneous touch events with no extra power system dependent, such as real-time positioning of target object by addressing and monitoring the electroluminescent signal. Moreover, a strain sensor made up of electro fibers, depending upon the electrostatic effect, demonstrate an alternative route to detect the mechanical deformation of the human body. Here, the two kinds of pre-treated cotton threads were entangled for to form double helix structures. Look at this picture. Say the C1. The sensor was coiled around a silicon fiber. Mm, one was CNT coated cotton threads, and other contains the coverage consisting of polytetrafluoroethylene and CNT PCCGT. The flexible sensor was then fixed on a finger, and the finger motion stayed. And look at the figure D, which shows that are directly reflected, including static state moving a little and with a large amplitude. Therefore, these studies will extend the application of sensor made from polymer liquids and personal health monitors, such as detecting the pressure signals from the heartbeat with a wristband type instruments. This motion states are directly reflected, including static and state moving a little and with a large amplitude. Therefore, these studies will extend the applications of sensors made from polymer electrodes and personal health monitors, such as detecting the pressure signal from the heartbeat with a wristband type instruments. So, field effect transistor, the modern electronic product rely on large number of logic cells, in the example transistor, and their further development are primarily driven by market requirements for the fast yet inexpensive methods for storing more information. So organic materials have received substantial research and development attention during the last decades due to the lightweight solution possibility, flexibility, capability, as well as the feasibility of ambiguous components being printed on plastic substance. So far, many novel logic devices made up of organic or polymeric materials have been documented, divided roughly into resistor, capacitor, and transistor types. Note that the organic field OFEDs draw most of the attention for the non-volatile memories because of their non-destructive readout and accessible interaction into standard chip manufacture processing. The device functionality stems from and charge storage layer between the semiconductor channel and the gate layer. So this you can see the figure presents a layout of the transistor memory with a bottom gate top and top contact configuration where a gate layer made up of polymer electrode was utilized during the OFET operation. A high electric field induced across the polymer electrode film caused a charge flow from the semiconductor channel toward the dielectric interface. The charges were mainly deposited in the organic side, and the net charge in the polymer thus serves an extra gate to shift the threshold voltage. Nevertheless, it is technically difficult to reduce the operating voltage without gate leakage in the polymer electric transistor for a stable charge storage, because a higher programming voltage is required to generate a substantial shift of VT at room temperature, yet avoid an impact of the reading voltage on it synchronously. To this point, the floating gate OFEDs with additional of AU nanoparticles in the gate electrode layer are thus considered to realize organic flash memory devices. This is an on ratio is. This is also renders a valuable way to design or improve the organic memory device. For instance, a block of polymer nanocomposite electrodes, where the charge storage capability can be effectively optimized by controlling or morphologies of the final hybrid nanocomposite layer and spatial distribution of the introduced molecules. Pattern, we can see that a fingerprint-like pattern that contains long and wandering domains will appear with the increased amount of added molecules. The formation of high density and high bit non-volatile OFEDs will potentially be upgraded and control the device performance. In another case, bilayered polymer gate dielectrics are introduced to optimize the memory performance. If the electric field existing in the low K value is relative lower than that of the high K one, the charge transfer from the channel to get electric shows an insignificant improvement in this low K to high K bilayer dielectric system. With the use of integrated circuit technique to fabricate the transistor based on polymer electrode offers the promising attractive choice for developing a lightweight memory. One serious problem is that the air we breathe today has been heavily polluted by various pollutants particles in the environment, including black carbon, coal dust, tobacco smoke, dust, pollen, and bacteria. So it is thereby very important, imperative to prevent the human respiratory system from these pollen and improve important issue in occupational hygiene. So filtration is considered as one valid way to do that in addition to wet scrubbing and electrostatic precipitation. So filter media available today are able to remove particles from contaminated air. It is worth noting that the particles with size of 1 to 100 nanometer are more harmful to one's health in comparison with those larger ones. Inspired by the growing demand for clean air, all the world are in pursuit for air filters with extremely high filtration efficiency at very low pressure drop. So most of the available air filtration are made of filter media composed of fibrous, among which a large proportion are known as polymer electric filters. Once charging through contacting or under external electric field, a quasi-permanent electric charge was developed, which turns these elements into electric filters. A microscopic bipolar, sorry, charge is detectable in these electric filters, but the fibrous possesses a very low net microscopic charge. These effects led to an increase in the electrostatic attraction between the fibers and the particles in the air, and therefore the particles capture efficiency of these filters. Electric air filters contribute to the distribution of particles throughout along the fiber circumferences. Their filtration and respirator examples, as we all know about N95 respirators against nano-sized particles, were also demonstrated for pre-charged fiber filters that are widely employed for the production of N95 respirators. Such a peak shift towards a nano size, suggesting a high particle filtration efficiency. So here now we'll see the perspectives through this, we can say that through this lecture, the progress of polymer electrodes, including the development, classification, preparation, method, charge retention, capacity, and their potential application are systematically summarized. So a polymer electrode cell could serve as a low energy consuming device with low cost. Absence of polymer electrodes application in energy housing, transistors, air filters suggests that products established on polymer electrodes have been used practically in almost all areas of the world we live in it. So it could be expected that polymer electrodes continue to address the research on multidisciplinary materials and their potential application in wearable devices, where joint teams from engineering, physics, chemistry, and biology are high desirable. So we can say that the drive toward the higher efficiency and ease and integration bring challenges for the next step research further on polymer electrodes and relevant devices. So the key factor that influences the property of polymer electrode devices, that is the density and the stability of charge stored on or in the electrode layer. The community is looking forward to polymer electrode with a higher charge trapping density and longer retention time. The charge storage takes place more easily in the surface within minuscule, that is the then internal region of the liquid material. Thus, a rough surface is anticipated to improve the charge storage stability. Grafting functional groups onto polymer contributes higher charge storage trapping capability, yet some researchers concerned about that the attracted organic solvent molecules that would intentionally discharge the polymer. Simultaneously, full understanding of these problems requires more theoretical models and numerical means as the devices down to the nanoscale. So the aforementioned charging methods involve factors that restrict the large-scale production, and simplification or elimination of the charging process would be exceptionally useful. Or we can say that there are still a lot of blank deserves to be filled to promote polymer electrode electronics, such as either lower surface charge density in comparison with that exhibited in organic electrodes. One reasonable way toward the practical application can be integration of other organic and inorganic electronic components. So the vast majority of polymer electrodes are flexible, but not all polymer electrodes are stretchable. So lack of stretchability may limit the application of polymer electrode on variable electronics. So the composite materials, including flexible polymer and the stretchable polymer, may be the flexible and stretchable electrode devices that need to be demonstrated. So it is worth noting that the lot of polymer electrodes are hard to degrade, which may cause pollution to the environment. Thus, it is quite desirable to develop a biodegradable and eco-friendly polymer electrode. Using natural biomaterial as electrode deserves more attention. So, continuous advancements in the technology for polymer electrodes have already been exhibited and extended the fascinating world for smart devices in the future. These are the references where my presentation is taken to be. So, thank you, everyone.